Hey Dave, Wolfman Jeff here on the porch here in Chattanooga. Not sure what I could say about this game that would not get me in too much trouble. It's a bit frustrating. There were some good points. Pedro Neto, I think, was fantastic. He was our best player. But I can't give Pedro our man of the match, because the man of the match was Josh Smith, because it was all about Josh Smith. And that's what people are going to remember for a while. Some weird calls, bad calls. The red card seemed a bit harsh. I don't know why Lockyer didn't get a yellow for holding him up. But that was very frustrating. The handball was super weird. It was very frustrating. Neto's goal was beautiful. One of the best I've seen this year for us. But the thing, Dave, I think I'm most frustrated about is how for the first half we let Luton drive the bus. We let them set the tone, and we just responded and sat back. That game could have been very differently if we played aggressively in the first half rather than sit back and let them be aggressive. Thankfully, our defense kept them from scoring more than one. But I expected better for us. Anytime you get from a winning position to a draw, it feels like a loss. I get that. But I still think this was a winnable match. Still, a draw is better than a loss, but frustrating. We got a lot of work to do. Wolfman Jeff here on the porch, and I'm just going to cry in the corner.
This is Chris from Midesvoll in Norway on another miserable Saturday afternoon, evening, weekend. Okay, I mean, most people watching this will have seen the game. And so the first thing to discuss is, and get out of the way, yes, I don't believe that was a red card. I think it was unlucky, but they get given this kind of thing. They've got the penalty wrong. It's his leg first. So we were looking to parts of this game. However, focus more on how we started the game, the first 20-25 minutes. We could have been 2 or 3 down. We weren't awake. We were lazy. The passing was awful. They were arguing amongst themselves. The players don't look happy. What's the plan? What's the tactics? What's the identity? There is none. No, it's evident now that the club have made a terrible mistake in appointing Gary O'Neill. And it's a shame to bear after 6 games, but the message is pretty much loud and clear now. Let's pull the plug until it really is too late. Get him gone. He's not good enough. Nobody would have chosen him. It would have been great if it had worked, if it had been someone who came with fresh ideas, and if a gamble would have paid off, yes, it would have been great because he was available, it was cheap. But we see already it's not going to work. Get him gone now.
What do you do with that? Hi everyone, Dinny here in Cork in Ireland. The weather's atrocious. You wouldn't put a bucket out in it, and the match wasn't much better. I think I watched Dave's watch along more than I actually watched the match because it was atrocious. So the starting lineup, no real surprises. Silva still dropped and didn't get to come on at all. This was the huge big talking point as the sending off. I do think it was soft, but you can't do that. You can't put your boots, you can't put the sole of your boot on another player's anatomy and expect to get away with it. So he had to go. But having said that, if it was just a yellow, I think you wouldn't complain too much if you're a Luton fan. I don't know. Very despondent after that. Neto's goal is great. He's my man of the match, 2nd week in a row. It was just crap. It was just so crap. Like the first quarter of the game, Wolves were pinned back. Luton were all the passion and the power and the pace and the stuff and the things. And Wolves just didn't get going. controlled it a little bit coming towards the end of the first half. Then, of course, the sending off happened. That's it. I think that's the worst Wolves game so far this season. As I said, I wasn't concentrating too much on it. I was watching Wolves, so I was watching Dave's watch along, and I was kind of watching the match, and it was just not great. So if I've gotten anything wrong there, you know, I reserve the right to be wrong. Just terrible. I'm going to give it a match rating, because when the goal went in, it was exciting. It's, you know, it gets you off your seat and it's a bit of a buzz. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. That was atrocious. It really, really was atrocious. Right, onwards and upwards. The simple matter of Man City next week. Bye, everyone.
Hey Dave, David Neopolz here, coming to you from the Borgata in Atlantic City, handing over my hard-earned money to a casino. I'm going to make this quick because I don't think you're supposed to shoot videos in casinos, so I don't want to get in trouble. Where do you even start with that Luton match? Bottom line, we didn't lose. That would have been utterly disastrous. It's a bit disappointing that we're the team that gives them their first point of the season, but you know, given how the game played out, I think getting away with the draw is okay. I was really disappointed how we started. They were all over us. They were battering us, and it should have been the other way around. They're the Premier League new boys, lost every game, not a great team, low on confidence. We should have been after them, and it was the other way around, and I was really worried how it was going to play out. But we held on to half-time, started to come back into it. Obviously, the red card was, honestly, I know a lot of people say it wasn't a red, but it was. You can't make that sort of action, the kicking out. It didn't really even rise to the level of kicking out, but that motion towards another team's player, you can't do that. What I was disappointed about was that Lockyer didn't get anything, because he instigated. He provoked the red. And I would argue, if you provoke someone else into a red card, you should get a red card, right? But he didn't even get a yellow, which was really disappointing. But you know, we regrouped. I think the change at halftime to a back three was a really smart move. Bringing on Doherty to make him and Semedo wing backs was a smart way to adapt to the situation. So well done to O'Neill for that. And then we took the lead. Brilliant goal from Neto. I mean, nice ball from Gomez, but Neto did all the work there. He got in. He did what I thought we should have done from the beginning of the game: hassle the defender into making a mistake, and then cut in a nice finish. So at that point, you're thinking, okay, good. We were on top. Things were going okay. And then the penalty. I mean, I understand in most contentious decisions there's sort of arguments either way, but here, I'm sorry, there isn't an argument that that's a penalty. The law says, black and white, if it deflects onto a defender's arm off his foot, it's not a penalty. It deflected off the defender's foot onto his arm, therefore it's not a penalty. And how can VAR, a room full of people with tens of millions of pounds of technology and dozens of cameras, freeze frame, how can they not apply the rule correctly? How is that possible? And, you know, it's not one of those, well, yeah, I see that argument and see that the other argument. There is no argument. That was not a penalty. And that changed the game. It obviously equaled the scores and got them back into it from a mentality point of view. And that's what's frustrating about it, is that's a wrong decision. And I don't want to hear that we get an apology, you know. So that's what makes these sort of things infuriating, is this is the point of VAR, and they got it wrong. And that needs to stop. So frustrating. Really would have been great to pick up another 3 points today at probably one of the easiest away games we're going to have this season. But again, we didn't lose. That's the important part. I think this part of the season is all about getting the team playing together, giving O'Neill the time to do what he wants to do, giving him the time to build the team that he wants. And, you know, maybe get to Christmas in a safe spot, strengthen in January, and then maybe push on second half of the season. And I'm not expecting too much at the beginning of the season, to be honest. So not losing is okay. So on to Man City next weekend. And don't you just know we're going to win that? Right? That's just the Wolves way. So anyway, cheers, Dave. Talk to you later.
Here in Athens. So Luton 1, Wolves 1. Let's be honest, today looking good, is it? Proved ourselves to being no worse than the worst team in the league. I think if I was a Luton fan, I'd be disappointed. I think they probably deserve the win. Wolves, I think, had one chance, one goal. For me, it was a sending off. I think he did lash out, and I think these days with VAR watching, you've got to expect to get a red card when you do something like that. But Wolves up until that point had shown nothing, and so, you know, many Wolves fans might say, well, if it was 11 against 11, we'd have got the result. But there was nothing that indicated that Wolves were going to do that up until the red card. After the red card, you have to expect Luton to push on and win, especially given the fact that they were better team in the first half. Luckily, Pedro Neto, who's been the outstanding player of the season so far, stepped up and put in a beautiful individual goal to save our skin, basically. I think I'd be surprised if he sticks around unless something changes at Wolves, because he seems to be a lot better than the standard of the rest of the team right now. As for the penalty, for me, not a penalty. He comes off his foot and hits his hand. I think he's pretty unlucky there. But if the ball had been struck and it hit his hand directly, it was probably not in a particularly natural position. It was right above his head. So, you know what to say about that. I thought Traore did very well when he came on. But I think we need to start experimenting a little bit more up front. Pedro Neto is putting in some great crosses sometimes, and there's no one on the end of them. I think Fabio Silva deserves a chance. Playing for anyone else who's banging in goals and assisting left, right and centre, I don't see any reason why he can't do for us. So I say, you know, we should give the kid a bit more of a chance. And Gary, you are being judged on the games you play, whether it's against Liverpool, Man United or Luton. And let's be honest, mate, it ain't looking good so far. So you need to make some changes if you want to be having your job by Christmas, in my opinion. Always Wolves.
Hey Dave, Noah here from Chicago, Illinois. So it ends Wolves 1, Luton 1. Disappointing result for my liking. Really disappointing result. I think that if there are any games in this early going that we had to get points from, particularly 3 points, it was Everton and Luton. And we did get 3 points from Everton, but we did not get 3 points from Luton. First half against Luton was shocking. It was absolutely shocking. We just got pinned in again and again, and the press from Luton just absolutely shocked us to our core, I think. And we just weren't able to get out. They pinned us in. And then we started to grow into the game, I think, a little bit. We started to possess the ball a bit more. We strung together some passes at least. Had a few forays forward. And then the red card just changed everything. And you just can't do that if you're Bellegarde. He's young, I get it. Lockyer, he knows exactly what he's doing by latching his legs around Bellegarde's legs. And he should have received a yellow card for that, but he didn't. I thought the referee at times was very questionable in his decision making. I don't know if that's a penalty or not at all. I mean, it deflects off his foot into his arm. It's a very tough call. Overall, player of the match, Pedro Neto again. I mean, come on. Spectacular goal. He should have never latched onto that. But he did anyways, and he put it home. And he has been, honestly, he's been the biggest bright spot, but he was the only bright spot today. So we need to go out. We need to get points. I believe we're at home next. So it's going to be a big, big home game next. And yeah, I'll catch you all next Saturday.